Let's move on to our main focus tonight, which is on the state of India-Pakistan relations and the status of India-Pakistan talks that were expected to take place later this month. Vikas Swarup, the Ministry of External Affairs spokesperson, has said that India stands by its decision to conduct talks, but there cannot be any talks without terror. Pakistan has been given actionable intelligence and they want Pakistan to walk the talk.
The terrorist attack on the Pathankot airbase has once again put renewed focus on the challenge posed by cross-border terrorism. As far as we are concerned, the ball is now in Pakistan's court. The immediate issue in front of us is Pakistan's response to the terrorist attack and the actionable intelligence that has been provided to it.
Are you then going to allow these foreign secretary talks to be derailed by the elements that want to derail the talks?
Look, we are not derailing anything. We are not foreshadowing anything. We are not imposing any deadlines. That's what I said. Let us not put the cart before the horse. Let us deal with the immediate situation in front of us.
Well, according to sources, some of that actionable intelligence is a linking of the Pathankot attack as well as the attack on the Indian consulate in Mazar-e-Sharif. The MEA did confirm that the consulate was a target of that attack and the Jaish-e-Mohammed could be behind both. My colleague Sudhiranjan Sen now joins us for more on these details. Sudhiranjan, some information that you have on what exactly this intelligence is that was provided to Pakistan. As we've been saying, Pakistan has stated its intention to investigate the material India has sent. So what are we expecting?
Well, to begin with, I mean, now, even after the Pathankot thing has settled down, the understanding that we are getting from New Delhi is that they are not looking at the Pathankot attack and the Afghanistan attack separately. They are looking at these two attacks as part of a well-coordinated policy. Also, and this is because of certain evidences that have been collected from Pathankot, which directly links to Prime Minister Modi's AF-Pak policy, and which is why the stand is very clear, and the stand being that you first act on the intelligence that we have, or the leads we have provided you. What kind of leads have been provided? Well, we have given them numbers from which the terrorists were speaking to the handlers. What New Delhi expects is that at least in the very basic minimum, they need to go pick up those people and question them, because New Delhi feels it is not Jaish alone. There is something behind Jaish, something much more deeper than Jaish. And that is what New Delhi wants, at least Pakistan, to get cracking on that. And if that happens, there are indications that prior to the foreign secretary level, the scheduled foreign secretary level talks, there might be another interaction, a meeting between the national security advisors of the two countries, which will of course be only on terror and the recent incidents of terror that have happened. Maya.
Right, Sudhiranjan Sen, thanks very much for joining us with that. Well, the fate of these talks really sort of hangs in the balance, a huge shadow over whether these foreign secretary talks will take place. Will the national security advisors of both countries meet and talk about terror before the foreign secretaries meet? Is that one possible option? Let's not forget that when the UFA meeting had taken place, there was a decision to put together a mechanism where national security advisors would meet and speak specifically on the issue of terrorism. Well, joining us to talk about what all this means right now, we have in the studio with us from the BJP, Seshadri Chari. We also have in the studio Lieutenant General Syed Atta Hasnain, who was a General Officer commanding of the 15th Corps. We have with us from the Congress Abhishek Manu Singhvi from his residence, Vivek Kachu, former Secretary in the External Affairs Ministry, with us from his residence, and from Karachi we have Air Vice Marshal Abid Rao joining us from studios in Karachi. I want to actually ask Abhishek Manu Singhvi first. Kapil Sibal has come out and said, instead of saying that the ball is in Pakistan's court, it is time that the ball should be in India's own court. Can you just explain to us what that statement means? What is it the Congress wants the Indian government to do right now?
No, I'm not here to start explaining statements. You have to ask the person who made it I am here to say that the Congress stand is consistent. You can seek a clarification on the exact words used by anyone, but all I am saying is the Congress stand is, number one, engagement must be there. Barring something exceptionally disastrous and bizarre, engagements must continue. Second, the engagement forms, calibration, degree, methodologies can of course change, sometimes higher, sometimes lower, on the need of the moment. But number three, we totally disagree with the manner and form in which there has been a zigzag of the engagement process itself from May 2014, complete zigzag, complete volte-face. There must be that consistency and coherence in the engagement. Number four, as of today, as of the current context, I think it is prima facie, it appears to be correct to say that you must show us actionable intelligence, actionable deliverables on what has happened before we engage fully. I think that's fair, although I'm saying it cautiously because I don't know the full details of what the government is going to do next. But we must then insist on time frames. And last but not the least, I've always been saying for the last few days, we must continue despite this to heap international opprobrium and embarrassment at least upon a section of Pakistan.
All right,
I am prepared at the moment to give the benefit of doubt to Nawaz Sharif, but not to anybody else.
Okay,
and that must lead to international opprobrium and embarrassment.
Right. Abhishek Manu Singhvi is saying that, you know, nobody knows what the government is going to do next, certainly not the Congress. But the question is, does the government know what it's going to do next? Because Vikas Swarup has drawn some very hard red lines today. Not even, 3 weeks after Prime Minister Modi went to Lahore, and we saw the bonhomie that was a result of that meeting. You know, it seems to be that you take 2 steps forward, you get to a position, and then you're forced to roll back the very position that you have taken.
No, that has always been the situation as far as India-Pakistan relations have been concerned. It has always been 3 steps forward, 2 steps backward, because the political establishments wants to establish peace and engagement and then go on a number of other issues. There are sections within the Pakistani political establishment and a larger sections within the Pakistani army which has a different agenda. Therefore, these talks, I fully agree with the first 2 points that Mr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi said. Engagements must continue and the methodologies must change. When the Prime Minister went to Lahore, the situation was different. 1 week after that, the situation is different. Number one, A. B. When the foreign secretary level talks were decided, the foreign secretary level talks were supposed to be on a number of subjects, including certain confidence building measures within the broader framework of comprehensive dialogue. So when you are going to set an agenda on the broader frameworks of comprehensive agenda, the foreign secretary level talks were not supposed to be included on terror. Whereas the NSA level talks which were held once in Bangkok and the second NSA level talks which have been decided were specifically on the issue of terror. And now, after the Pathankot incident and after the Kabul incident, it's very clear that the servants may have been different, but the masters are the same.
Well, let's get in our view from Pakistan as well. We have Air Vice Marshal Abid Rao joining us from Karachi. Sir, the Congress has said that talks must continue and they give Nawaz Sharif the benefit of the doubt. The BJP also agrees on the fact that the talks must continue. The methodology really does need to change as well. But you've seen some very, very tough talking from the External Affairs Ministry in Delhi today. There's also been a declaration of intent from Pakistan to sort of act on the intelligence that India has provided. But we're looking at timelines right now. The Foreign Secretary talks are meant to take place on the 15th of January. When India says the ball is in Pakistan's court, is there likely to be some kind of response before these Foreign Secretary talks take place in your assessment?
Thank you, Maya. Let me start with one verse from my own book, which says, सजाएं सब है कबूल एक शर्त पर मुझको गवाहों के लिए सच बोलना जरूरी है. Actually, that is what has been missing from Indo-Pak relationship, the lack of trust between our 2 countries. And unfortunately, this incident has taken us back. I would have much liked myself that the Indian government should have continued the talks at the secretaries level and this be pursued in parallel. because now we have actually given a partial acknowledgement to the mandate of the terrorists, whom we also do not approve, do not acknowledge to be doing something harmful to India. You see, the secretary level talks should not be derailed, should not be delayed, and NSA advisors should meet and sort out the whole thing. In the past few incidents, we have been a victim of, not satisfying each other with the response, with the quality of evidence, and with the procedure. In UFA, the two prime ministers had agreed that there will be a mechanism which means reliable sharing of evidence, intelligence, and the procedure to follow what happens. And believe me, all government and other departments are keen that it should be nailed down to the last detail, so that these things don't happen. When Prime Minister Modi came here on 25th December, it was feared that some such incident may put us back, so many steps. As they say that the strength of a chain lies in the weakest link. Our relations, are they, sabotageable, or they are hostages to such incidents? This is exactly what these terrorists want. Pakistan is determined now to eliminate them. So be sure, if the evidence is correct, it will be done.
Okay, General Hasnain, whenever we speak to our guests from across the border on debates like this, there seems to be a consensus that, look, everyone does need to talk and Pakistan is committed to tackling terrorism. You see these positions taken every time there is a terror attack. Now, if India has taken a decision that they want to go ahead with the dialogue process, as seems to be the case with this current government, then what happened in Pathankot, what happened in Mazar-e-Sharif is something that's going to have to be taken, not to sound sort of flippant about it, but taken in stride, because you have to then continue the dialogue process irrespective. We're again back to the same stage we were in over, whether they'll meet the Hurriyat and should we talk and things like that.
Well, it is easier said than done. What you're saying is absolutely right. I mean, ideally, that's the process which should be followed. I remember on this very show, some time ago, there was a lot of talk of the flip-flop of the Indian government on this policy. And I said, don't call it flip-flop. It is a better terminology for it. It's fits and starts.
Okay.
Right? Fits and starts fits into this policy, absolutely. And particularly after this incident. You see, the government really can't be faulted on any decision at this stage. What they're doing is they're playing for time, because everything is not very clear after Pathankot. Evidence is still being gathered. The linkages between what happened in Mazar-e-Sharif and what happened in Pathankot are still being established. So things are just being put on hold. No one has said that these talks are being cancelled. And I have always believed, and I've always been saying it, that the most important thing after the visit of our Prime Minister to Lahore would have been an early meeting of the NSAs to secure the flanks of this peace process, which meant that they should have sat together and looked at the contingencies. That every time there's a contingency, how do the two countries respond together?
Okay, I want Vivek Karchu to come in on that, because this is a very important point. Instead of bringing on board immediately the mechanism to tackle terror, which is the NSA's forum, they decided to go ahead and talk about foreign secretaries meeting. General Hasnain is making the point, as is Abid Rao making the point from Karachi, that if you've decided to continue talking, then continue talking. You expect that there's going to be incidents that will derail the process.
Maya, let us look at history, because history offers us a guide here. The Pakistani establishment decided to use terror as a part of its security doctrine against India. The question before us is if it is willing to abandon that. Because if it is not willing to abandon that and change its approach to India, then whether you have NSA level talks or you don't, to my mind, they will be meaningless. At the moment, the jury is out on this. Now, the very fact that Pakistan permits non-state actors, quote unquote non-state actors, to operate from its territory against India indicates that there has not been a decision in Rawalpindi on this issue. The chances are, and that is my guess, that they will not decide on that.
Okay.
They want to use terror, keep it at least, just let me complete, keep it in reserve. They may calibrate it, but they will not give it up.
I want
As
Abid Rao
long
to come
as
in on
that
that.
happens,
Yeah.
no, one point here.
Yeah.
As long as that happens, the dilemma of each government in India will continue. What do you do when a state, a responsible state with nuclear weapons, continues to embark on the use of terror?